Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. In this video we're going to be completing paper 3 from the CIE ICT IGCSE course. So paper 3 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. I'm going to be completing the May-June 2019 paper today, version 31, and we're going to be focusing on data analysis, which is a spreadsheet section. So let's go down to the first page. So the first part is the evidence document. What you need to do is create a new word process document and save it as J1931 evidence followed by your candidate number. So for this example I will be using 1234 for the candidate number, and the second bullet point basically says what you need to do is to make sure your name, center number and candidate number will appear on every page of this document. So let me just highlight this. So I've gone ahead and already created the evidence document. So you can see we've got a correct name saved as a Microsoft Word document, and I've also included my candidate number at the end, so 1234. And what I've done is I've included the details in the header, so they're not really being specific on where they want your name and candidate details to appear, as long as it appears on every page. So I've included it in the header at the top of the page. Okay, let me just save the changes. So you will need to use the evidence document to place screenshots and answers to questions during some point in this question paper. So task 2, spreadsheet. You are going to prepare spreadsheets for special disk sales. This company makes and sells storage devices. This company has 49 employees, and the company uses a spreadsheet to record the hours worked each week and calculate the pay of the employees. All employees are paid in euros, which must be displayed as two decimal places. So I'm going to highlight this as anything that's going to be in currency needs to be formatted to euros and to 2 decimal places. So the rest of this information is not really relevant. I think this is the most important piece of that paragraph. So question 1, open and examine the file J1931 temp.csv. So if I go to my folder, this is a file that we need to open up. You'll notice it's a comma separated values file. At some point we're going to be saving it as an Excel workbook, so we save our formulas. Okay, so before we start, let's have a look at what we have. So always increase the columns so you can see the data in full. Okay, so we've got office code and office name, job code and job description. So I'm guessing we're probably going to be using these tables as part of a lookup. Okay, and we also have the rate of pay, which belongs to this table. So let's go down and have a look at what we actually have. So we have staff members here, and for each staff member we have the first name, last name, office code. I'm guessing this will refer to this, yeah, the job code, which should refer to this table here. You can see we have 2 blank cells here. Probably will be doing VLOOKUPs on these 2 tables. Contract hours, hours worked, which we may have to work out, and a rate as well, which we'll probably have to work out as well. Okay, so let's have a look. What do we need to do? I'm just going to go forward. Let me see where, yeah. Before I do anything, I want to save this as a spreadsheet file with the name SDS underscore followed by your center number and candidate number. So we're going to be saving it like this. So SDS underscore for my center number, I'll use 5678. For my candidate number, I'll use 1234. So I want to save it first of all, just in case the computer crashes. At least we've saved the file. So I want to save it into my source folder. Let's include the center number, so 5678. Obviously in the exam you'll include the numbers given to you, so 1234, and make sure you save it as an Excel workbook. Save. Okay, so once you saved, every 5 minutes or so you should be clicking on this disk to save your formulas or any formatting which you may have applied. I've done this already, so let me just highlight this part as complete. Right, let me go up to the first bullet point. So replace, I'm just going to zoom in slightly, the text in A1 with SDS weekly pay. So in A1 we need to get rid of this text, and I'm just going to paste in SDS weekly pay. So I'm using my shortcuts on my keyboard to paste, so Control and C to copy, Control and V to paste. Delete rows 3 to 7. So 3 to 7 we need to delete, so you highlight the numbers on the side and we can right click and select delete. And then format the top of the spreadsheet to look like this. Okay, so you'll notice first of all the second row is probably a quarter of the size of a typical row, maybe less than a quarter. Or so what I'm going to do first of all, increase the size of row 1. Okay, so that looks like it's a size it's maybe 2 times the size of a typical row. So let me just increase the size of this row. Let's make it maybe just slightly over the double size of one particular row. Okay, once I've done that, the second row, let's reduce the size, so maybe down to just a quarter of what it was. Okay, you'll notice these cells have been merged into one cell, going all the way across to K. So let's merge these cells. So if I highlight these cells here, all the way across to K, let's merge it as one cell. And then what we're going to do, we're going to increase the size of this text so it fits the row. Yep, I'm happy with that. And then the alignment is going to be on the right hand side. If you look at this, it's going to be on the right hand side. And this text looks like it's been made bold. So let me just make this text bold as well. Okay, I'm happy with that. And it looks like it's a sans serif font. Yep, so let me change that to, I don't think I have to change it, but I prefer just to use Arial. Trying to see. Okay, there we go. There's Arial. I'm going to reduce the size slightly. Actually, let's just increase the size of this row. There we go. That's perfect. Right. So now we've done that. What we need to do next is to change the background color to a dark green background for the cell. So let's click on the cell. Let's go to the paint bucket. Let's choose a dark green. I think that's a dark green. And we also need to change the color of the text as well. So make sure we formatted the cell to be merged, which we did before. Okay, and then we need to change the text to white. So let me do that now as well. Done. But the next thing which we need to do, and which could be overlooked, is we need to basically sort out the borders and the fill on these two tables here, and also apply the currency formatting as well. So let me just go up. Yeah. So let me change this to euros first of all. And by default we've got 2 decimal places. Just going to go back and double check. So from here to here, what we need to have is an outside border. And it looks like it's a thick outside border as well actually. So what I'm going to do is choose the option which gives us a thick outside border. And the same thing we need to do here as well. So we highlight from this cell to this cell. So from D5 to F13, we need to apply the outside border as well, a slightly thicker version. And I'm also going to include a fill for the inside. Okay, so you can see now we've got the outside border and the cells have been filled in. And now what we need to do is basically format the text above. Okay, and it looks like it's a serif font, so these fonts are all serif at the top. So let me just highlight all of these cells here, change them to Times New Roman, which is an example of a serif font. As you can see, the text looks like it's been center aligned. So let's center align the text. Whoops. Going to make the text bold and italic. So office code, I'm just double checking. And this row here, row 4, you can see is double the size of a typical row. So let's change the size of row 4. Okay, office name and job description, you can see and job code as well. These cells have been wrapped, the text has been wrapped onto the next line within the cell. So I'm going to just highlight these cells here. So I'm pressing Control to select multiple cells. To format these cells so the text wrap, we can right click our mouse, go to Format Cells, Alignment, and then we can select Wrap Text. Okay, so office name should be wrapped, job code should be wrapped, and job description should also be wrapped as well. So that's done. Okay, and what I'm going to do also, I'm going to increase the size of the text as well, because this is not wrapping completely, so maybe we have to increase the size of these fonts. I'm going to keep increasing it until this text wraps. Okay, let me have a look here. Okay, I'm actually going to reduce the size. Let's go down to 16. Yeah, 16 looks a bit better actually. And I'm going to just make this slightly smaller. Yep, I'm happy with that now. So you can see the text for this cell and this cell is wrapped. Okay, yep, I'm happy with that. So it looks close enough to this. Okay, then what we also need to do is to format row 15 and 16. So you can see the text again is bold, italic, and it looks like a serif, and the text has been wrapped. So I'm going to apply the same formatting, so bold, italic, Times New Roman again, since we want a serif font, center aligned. Okay, let's increase the size of the font, so I'll take it to about 14, I think. Okay, and you'll notice as well the 16th row is probably double the size of the 15th row, maybe slightly bigger, so let me increase the size of the 16th row, and then what we need to do then is to make the text wrap. So if I highlight these cells here, right click, click on Format Cells, and then take this option here to wrap the text. Okay, so let me double check. So last name is also wrapped. Okay, I'll just increase the row slightly. So the ones which are not wrapped, maybe office name needs to be wrapped as well. So yep, I'm happy with that. So basically what we've done so far, and let me just highlight everything I've done. We inserted this text into A1, which was then merged across all the way to K into one cell, and then the text was formatted. The background of the cell was formatted into a dark green as well. The next thing that we did was to format the text above. Actually, we applied the borders to these tables here and changed the fill color inside, and then we change the formatting of these cells here of the text, and we also had to adjust the columns or the row height as well, actually, and the columns in some cases. Right, so that part is done now. You can see 11 marks to pick up, so they should be 11 easy marks. So make sure you are paying close attention to detail. It could be quite easy to miss out the fact that we had to apply currency to these cells, and the fact that we had to fill in these tables. And also, it's a small detail, but you can tell that these text styles here are bold and italic and in a serif font. So that's that part done. Question 2. Actually, before we move on, let me just save the changes. Right, yeah. I'm just double checking everything actually before we do move on. Yeah, actually something really important. This is something a lot of people may miss out, and I think I have done previously in a past video. You know, the second column or second row, we had to reduce the size. So it's really easy to miss this step, but if you pay close attention to the actual print screen that you have, you can see the second row we've decreased the size. Right, so now question 2. Place your name, center number and candidate number right aligned in the header. So if I go to insert, okay, normally the header and footer option is here somewhere, but I think mine is hidden, so let me click on this down arrow here. Yep, so header and footer. So let me double check again, what do we need to do? So on the right hand side, name, center number and candidate number. So remember, for my center number I'll use 5, 6, 7, 8. Candidate number I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4. So always include your full name when they ask you for your name. So center number and then candidate number. Okay, place the text last revised on, followed by an automated date, then a space and an automated time, left line in the header. So what was first, was it automated date and then the time? Space and then time. So let me double check again, was it date and time? Yeah, date and then time. So that's that part done. And to get back to the normal view, what you need to do is click anywhere on the cell and then you can go to view, normal. If you go to print preview, you can see you should have the header details at the top. So you got the last revised, you got the date and time with a space in between, and then you got your name and candidate details on the right hand side at the top of the page. If you go to the different pages, you can see this details appear on every page in the header. Okay, job done. So let's now move forward. Okay, so now we need to create a named range called offices using only the cells A5 to B13 inclusive. So that means to include. Okay, so let me copy. Actually, before we do make the named range, we're going to be taking a screenshot to show how we create a named range. So let me set that up in the evidence document. So if I go to my evidence document, copy evidence 1, and it's going to be for a named range. So at least now we've set the evidence document up for the first evidence. So it's going to be from A5 to B13. So A5 to B13 is this range of cells here. To create a named range, we simply right click and we click on define name. Let's move this box here. In this box you can see this is a range of cells. It's from A5 to B13. So that's what's going to show up in the evidence. And we're going to give it a name, offices. So this is what we need to print screen before press enter. So let me take this print screen. If you want to use the snipping tool, that's up to you. I've just got used to using this method now. So let me just crop this. What you need to make sure with any print screen you do, it's nice and clear and obvious for the examiner to see what it is that you're trying to evidence. So you can see the named range is going to be called offices, and here's a range of cells from A5 to B13. Let me save the changes. Go back to the Excel. Let's press OK. Now let's say, for example, you do make a mistake with the named range and you want to delete it and do it again. You can go to formulas, click on name manager. Here's the range called offices. If you need to redo it, you can delete and then redo the name range if you had to. So that's that part done. Let me highlight this. So as mentioned before, I think we probably will be using that named range. So let's look at question 4. So in cell F17, we're going to use a function to look up the office name. So probably it's going to be used in this question now. So F17 is this cell here. So we're going to be using a function to look up the office name. So before I even look at the rest of the question, I can see we have the office name here, and the data that matches the office code will be these values here, which match up here. So F matches up to give us Ankara. So try and match up your data in your Excel. So before I move forward, look back at that question again. For job description, we can see job description is here and the job code is here. So try and look ahead and see what data matches up, what could be used for VLOOKUPs, for example. So let me read the rest of the question now. So use the office code column for the lookup value and arrange offices for the array, and that's what we just predicted right now. So let's start. So it's going to be a vertical lookup. For the lookup value, it's going to be the office code, comma. For the table array, we can either type in offices like this and select offices, or what we could do is we can just highlight the range of cells which has been named to offices, comma. The office name is going to be in the second column, so we can type in 2, comma, and we want the exact match. Let's close the bracket and press enter. As predicted, F returns us Ankara, so that's perfect. Okay. Eventually we are going to be replicating these functions from steps 4 to 7. So I'm just going to do this as I go along. So replicate basically means to drag it down. So if you go to the bottom corner of the cell, you can see the mouse turns into a black cross. At that point you can press the left mouse button down and you can drag the formula down as well. Okay, so that's that one done. Question 5, in G17, use a function to look up the job description. Use the job code column for the lookup. Okay, and do not use a named range. So we obviously can't look up this because this is a named range, but it makes no sense, to be honest. We basically want to find out the job description, so we're going to have to look up the job code and output a job description from this table array here. So again, this is another hopefully straightforward VLOOKUP. Lookup value is a job code which matches up with the contents of this table array. So remember, we're not going to refer to a named range, we just want to refer to these cells here. I don't need to go across to the third column since the job description is in the second column, and then I'm going to lock these cells. So I have to press function F4 on my keyboard. You may need to press F4 only on your keyboard. So you can see the cells have been locked with the dollar signs. Again, if you're not sure, the reason we do lock the cells is when I replicate the formula down, this range of cells will stay in the same place. Comma. For column index, we want to refer to the second column of the table array, comma. And again, we want the exact match. So the job code M1 should return us this manufacturing job description. Close the bracket. Let's drag this down to this point here. Okay, so you can go up and we can increase the column size slightly, so you want to show all of the information here. Now job description is not wrapped again, so you can see I want to make it like this, to be honest, so I'm not sure if it is a mark or not, but let me just increase the size of these the text. Actually, I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm going to leave it as it is. I know in a print screen it shows that it's been wrapped. Okay. However, what we need to do is increase the column size to include this information here. So I'm going to leave it as it is, it is for now. Hopefully it's not going to cost me a mark. Well, it's not getting marked anyway, but hopefully it's not going to cost you guys a mark. Right, so let's move forward. Okay, so we completed this. So we used a job code column for the lookup, and we didn't use a named range. Now, question 6 in J17, use a function to look up the rate of pay. Again, do not use a named range. So the rate of pay is going to be the third column of this table, and again, to match up, we can use this column here, the job code. So what cell is it again? It's J17, which is this one here. So equal VLOOKUP. Use the job code again, comma. Use this table array, but now we want to go to the third column. Again, we're going to lock the table array. Now for column index, we want to refer to the third column, and again we want the exact match. So M1 should return us £12.50. Enter. And this looks like it's going to be a currency value, so let me first of all drag it down. And then let me change this to euros. If you don't see the euro here, you can always go to format cells, currency or accounting, and then select from the symbol and select the decimal places as well. So since it's done for me, I don't need to change anything. In case 17, use a formula to calculate the pay based on the hours worked by this employee. Okay, so K17, if this is how much to get paid per hour, and this is how much or how many hours they worked, it's going to be a simple formula to calculate this value by this value here. Enter. And then we can drag this down. So there's no need for me to format this, as the euro currency is showing. Okay. And the key is here, so as you can see for question 4, 5 and 6 we were using the VLOOKUP functions, and then for question 7 we're just using a basic formula. So don't try overcomplicating anything. So it was a basic formula to calculate, to multiply the contract hours by the rate of pay. Actually, I'm just thinking now, was that a mistake? Maybe I need to multiply by the hours worked by this employee. I'm going to come back to this question maybe later on in this question paper. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to go ahead and look at the question paper, because I think the pay should be actually multiplied by the hours worked, not contract hours. Because I didn't see any numbers here, I just left this column, and I assumed it's going to be with the contract hours. But what I want to do, I'm going to delete this formula actually, and I'm going to go ahead and read the questions to see maybe we will be entering something here at some point, and it will be multiplied by hours worked. So let me go back to the question paper. I'm going to skip 9, skip 10 for now, and then for 11, let me have a look. Let's look at 11. So the hours worked by all employees were the same as the contract hours, except for the following. So what we're basically going to have to do is to copy and paste these contract hours into this column here. Okay, so we are going to be multiplying these two for the pay. However, for some of these employees, we're going to have to change the hours. Okay, so place the number of hours worked for each employee in the hours worked column. So that now makes no more sense to me now. So let me just first of all finish this formula off. Okay, let me drag this down. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense now. And then what I'm going to do, actually, let me finish off question 11. So I'm going to finish this question off. So let me find these people here. So Afonso. Now what I've done is just press Control F to find this option here, and what I can do is I can copy and paste the names in, or you can type in the names if you're doing this exam. Let me just see if I can find Afonso. Yep, so Afonso's this guy here. So he's now working 16 hours. Actually, it might be just quicker just to have a look at myself. Sergi Anaya is going to be 24. Oh, actually. Yep, I'm just going to use the search function. So this is now 24. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause the video until I complete, I enter all of these hours, because it's going to take me a while to find these names. So let me pause the video and then we'll come back to the point when I've answered I've changed all of the hours. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and finished changing all of these hours worked for all of these employees. So it did take me a while, so just make sure you do go down and check the names and then you change the numbers accordingly. So there's a couple of employees who now are not working any hours. So it's basically this guy here, or this person, Hinein, and Sandra Cooper. As you can see here, yep, Hinein and Sandra Cooper are now working no hours. Okay, what I'm going to do also is, you can see there's a dash for them two people. Let me just change the formatting of these cells here. I think this is set to accounting, that's why it's happening. So if I go to format cells, currency, okay, yeah, that's better. Now it just displays euros 0.00 rather than a dash. So I prefer to see this rather than a dash. Okay, so let's go up. Okay, question 9, cell I67, use a function to count the number of employees who worked some hours during this week. So I67, it's going to be this cell here, and because we're going to be counting with a criteria, we're basically counting all of the employees who worked basically more than 0 hours. Okay, so it's going to be a count if. Let me start typing it in. Count if the range of cells that we want to look in is this range of cells, the hours worked, comma, and the criteria in speech marks is going to be greater than 0. Close the speech marks, close the bracket, enter. And the answer I've got is 47. Let me just check if this is working. If I just type in for Sandra, maybe she's worked 2 hours. Has that gone? Yeah, it's gone up to 48. I want to change that back to what it was. Okay. So this count if basically counts anything starting from 1 going upwards. Right. In cell K67, use a function to calculate total pay for all employees. So K67 is this cell here, so we can use an equal sum to total all of the pay up. Let's close the bracket, press enter, and again this is formatted in currency in the same currency value as shown above. So I'm happy with that. Okay, we can highlight this as complete. So apply appropriate formatting to row 17 to 67. So 67 is up to here, so you can see we've applied formatting. So this is currency. These two columns are currency as well. Just going to go up and check to see if there's anything else I need to do. Let me go up here. Just have a look. Yeah, nothing else needs to change. So now we're coming to the first printout. Okay, and for this printout, we're going to be printing off the values. So printout fits on a single page wide. Contents of all cells are fully visible with no split words. Okay, so that just means the text is not wrapping, or the words are not being split. Like office is a one line, code is a one line. Yep. So let's go to file and print, and let's go to fit sheet on one page. Yep, I'm happy with that. So you can see the details are on the top in the header. Just want to double check if there's any other criteria. So fits single page wide, and all of the cells are fully visible with no split words. So I'm just checking to see if all of the data is fully visible. Yeah, so that's your first printout. So you send that to the printer. Check it once it comes out the printer. Make sure all of the data is right. The currency values are being formatted as currency. All the data is showing, nothing is cut off. Right, so that's that done. And the center number, name and candidate details was in the header. So for question 14 now we're going to print off showing a formulae. So let's go to formulas, show formulas, and I'm just going to adjust the columns to make sure the formula is showing in full. So make sure you open up this column and go down to the bottom. Yeah, we can see that counter, we can see the sum. Okay, so when we print, we're going to be printing in landscape orientation, and row and column headings are displayed. So this is typical when you print in the formulas, and the contents of the cells are fully visible. Let me just zoom out slightly. So that wasn't fully visible. Okay, let me just go up here really quickly. Let me just make the first 4 columns that make the text wrap. I'm not sure if this is too important, to be honest, but let me just do it anyway. Actually, we can't there because the name doesn't fit in. Let's do the office code. Just go down, see if all of the data is fitting. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let me just see contract hours and hours worked should be wrapped as well. So okay, and we can't change the size of these cells because then if we do, we're going to lose the formulas. So now let me go and print. It's going to be landscape. If I click on this option here, let's go to custom scaling options. Typically when you print in formulas, you print them to 2 pages wide, 1 page tall, and we're going to include the row and column headings. So that's the letters and numbers. Let me just select no scaling, and then custom scaling options, fit to 2 pages wide, 1 page tall. Is actually fits into 1 page wide, so it's fine. So we can print this off as it is. So that's your second printout. Okay, let's have a look. Actually, let me double check. Was that landscape I selected last time? Yeah, it was landscape. Yep, so your second printout. And as mentioned earlier and in previous videos, if you do receive your printout and you do notice a mistake, let's say for example the row and column headings are missing, or for example you printed it off in portrait, then go ahead and print it off again as many times as you want until you feel happy that you have answered all the questions correctly regarding the printouts. So yep, it was landscape, row and column headings were displayed, and the contents of all cells were fully visible, and the candidate details are in the header and footer. Okay, question 15. Create a spreadsheet extract showing only the employees who work in London or Zagreb and have the word sales in their job description. So this is where we have to filter. Sometimes it may ask us to interrogate, you know, so it basically means we have to filter the data down. So let me first of all, yeah, I'm just having a look. Okay, so what we need to do is take off the formulas first of all. Let's increase the column size again. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this table here. Let me just make that bit bigger as well. Okay, let's highlight this table. Let's go to home and let's click down and let's apply the filter. So the office name, so let me double check. So employees who work in London or Zagreb, so that's basically only appearing in this column here, office name. We can click here. You can, there's two ways of doing this actually. There's two ways. You can either untick here and select London or Zagreb. That's probably the quickest way of doing this. So you've got London or Zagreb, or you could have gone to text filters, equals, you know. So, but I think that was the quickest way of doing that. And a job description contains sales. Okay, so let me copy and paste this. Yeah, that's that done. Okay, so now what we need to do is sort the extract into ascending order of last name. So if I just highlight this again, go to sort and filter, custom sort. So I want to sort by last name, and it's going to be A to Z. So last name is here, so it should start off with yeah, it should be dribble, should be the first one I think. Yeah, and it's been sorted from A to Z. We're going to hide rows 3 to 15. Which is these rows here, so we can select them, we can hide them. And then row 67 we also need to hide as well. So let me just highlight all of these. It's done. So 67 is this last one here. Hide columns D, E, H. So D, E. Let me hide these two first of all. Right click, hide. H, hide. I and J. Okay, so before we print, I just want to double check again this text wrapping business. I don't, like I said before, I'm not even sure if this is going to be a mark or not, but I just want to make sure. So up to office name here is text wrapped. So let me just change these. So text is going to be wrapped, yeah. So office code, office name. Let me see the job code was an office name and job description. So yeah. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So let me go down. So we're going to print the extract. Okay, showing the values. Make sure it prints on a single page. Contents of all the cells are fully visible. So let's go to file and print. Normally when you print in the values, you can print to a portrait. Let's fit on one page, and we don't need to include the row and column headings. That's normally for formulas, and you can see the heading details are still there. So let me take off the row and column headings. Okay, so that's that done, and we can send that to print. So that was the filtering part. Sometimes they will say extract the data, sometimes they will say interrogate the data. Again, make sure you check your printouts once you receive them. If there's any mistakes, you can go again and print them again. Okay, the last question on this spreadsheets section. The start date of each employee will be added to the spreadsheet in 3 separate cells, one for day, one for month, and one for year. The spreadsheet will only accept numbers as valid data. Rules are to be used to test the month has been entered as a valid number. Select data to test these rules. You must use each item of test data only once. So we're going to be testing values which can be entered for a month. Only numbers will be accepted. So in your evidence document, identify an item of test data that you would enter as. So extreme would be basically those data that's at the boundaries of acceptability. So one example could be, if it's months, you could write the first month, so 1, and for B, another item of extreme data could be 12. So that's the first and last number that could be entered within that range. Abnormal would be, for example, something that's not numbers, or it could be a decimal number perhaps. So abnormal test data, I would write maybe rather than writing 1 or 2, you can try writing January or February, so writing text. Normal data would be test data within the range, so it could be data such as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So not the boundaries, just within the range of acceptability. So for evidence 2, you need to type the answers in your own words into your evidence document. To save myself a bit of time, what I've done, I've just taken that information from the mark scheme and I've put it into my evidence document. So extreme data, we said 1 and 12 is it's the first number and last number that could be accepted within the range of months. Abnormal data would be any item of text or anything that's less than 1 or greater than 12 or a decimal fraction. Normal data would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you don't need to give us many examples. Just one example is enough for C and D. And for A and B, we just needed 2 examples of extreme data. Okay, so we've come to the end of May-June 2019 version 31 spreadsheets. I think this was quite a straightforward spreadsheet paper. You just need to pay attention you don't drop marks on the formatting of the spreadsheet. Right, just before I go, if you want to find these files, you can go to my website. Okay, so the website address is www.yahmad.co.uk. If you click on this tab here, go to paper 3, and if you scroll down, you can see the files, the question papers here. The source files can be downloaded here, and I will be creating links to this video. Also, if you want to check out other videos, you can check out these links here as well. So question paper, source files, and links to the different sections of the papers. Also for paper 2, links are available. So if you go to paper 2, got some revision material at the top, and then you got links to question papers, source files, and then the actual videos. Okay, thank you for your time. Please like and share this video. I hope it has helped. Thanks again. Take care.